Dear students, a very good morning to all of you. We move on to our next lesson. The title of the lesson is The Pie and the Tart. It is our 10th lesson from the second book, page number 79, written by Huey Chesterman. This is a beautiful humorous drama written by Huey Chesterman. And the characters of the drama are Pierre, Jean, Gaultier, and Marion. In the beginning of the lesson, about the characters, some descriptions are given. Pierre and Jean, they are vagabonds. Vagabonds means, people like beggars who roam around begging for food or alms or something like that. Then Gaultier is a pastry cook. Pastry cook means a cook who works in the bakery. So they are called pastry cooks who makes fast food and bakery items and all. Who make cakes, all those things. Okay. Now Marion is his wife, the wife of Gaultier. Her name is Marion. Now let us move on to the lesson. Some introduction is given with regard to where does actually this drama happens or in which time it happens. So more or less in which period this particular story happens. So the scene is laid outside Gaultier's cake shop in Paris. So the story happens in Paris, outside the cake shop of Gaultier. The name of the owner of the cake shop is called Gaultier. The time is the middle of the 15th century. So this happens in the 15th century, the middle of the 15th century. The act could be played on a curtained stage with one door back center. So some introduction is given with regard to how could this act be played and what could be the mode of stage and all those things. The only furniture is a bench, right? Jean and Pierre are discovered. So there is a bench on which Jean and Pierre are discovered. So they are seen sitting on that bench. The former seated on the bench. So the Jean seated on the bench and in an attitude of extreme dejection. So he has a feeling of dejection, disappointment, depression, all those things. The latter pacing up and down, blowing his fingers. So blowing the fingers means it must be terribly cold, and in order to make your body heat, your hand heat, you blow hot air on your hand. So he is moving from to and fro. Both must indicate that they are cold and hungry. Say both of their justice. They indicates that both feel hungry and they feel terrible cold. Jean, regarding Pierre's restless pacing. So Jean is being seated on the bench, and he is seeing that Pierre moves to and fro, restlessly blowing on his fingers. So, must you keep doing that? Do you actually need to walk like that? Pierre, it's a blasted cold. It's an annoying cold. It's a terrible cold. If I stop walking, I shall freeze. So if I stop walking, what will happen to me? I will be like a piece of ice. I will become freeze. I am dying of hunger and cold. I feel terrible hunger and I feel cold. I may die out of hunger and cold. He's saying like that. So am I, but I prefer to die sitting down. So Jean also tells that I also feel terrible cold and I prefer to sit down and die. So now Pierre is saying something. When Jean told that I prefer to sit down and die, Pierre is saying, we make a pretty pair. So both of us make a pretty pair. We are very good friends. You and I, Pierre and Jean, we both make a good pair. Paris should be proud of us. So the town Paris must be proud of us. Displaying his rags. Rags means old cloth. So displaying the old cloth. Pierre is saying Paris must be proud of us. There are 23 holes in this tunic. So there are many holes on my tunic. How many are there? There are 23. I know because I counted them in this morning. So, because it is just displaying how poor they are, how worn out their clothes are. So, not to indicate the poverty which they face, they say that there are many holes on my tunic. That's only reckoning the ones that let the wind through. No doubt there are others, but let that pass. So he's saying that there are also other holes, but these 23 holes are pretty big so that the air could pass through these holes. Now Jean is saying something. The holes in your tunic doesn't interest me. I am concerned about is the hollow in my stomach. We must live, and without meal. So Jean is saying that I'm not worried about the holes in your tunic, but I am very much worried about the big hole which is created out of hunger on my stomach. So I am worried about that hole. Okay. In the first page, whatever we have seen are these, the characters of the story. They are Pierre, Jean, Gaultier and Marion. Now we have, in the first page, we have only two characters, namely Jean and Pierre. Both of them are beggars. They are vagabonds, people who travel from place to place begging for food and alms. And the time is mid of 15th century, and they are right in front of a Gaultier's cake shop, and they feel terrible hunger, and they are in freezing cold, and their poverty is very well described on the tunic which they wear. Now we move on to the second page of this lesson. That's what I said to Judge Gaston when I was pinched last month for begging. So I also told the same. That means I have a great hollow on my stomach. And I said this to Judge Gaston when I went for begging. Then he arrested me, pinched me. Last month means the judge arrested me. Jean said what? What did you say? Pierre. He asked me why I did it. And I said, well, Your Honor, I must live. And he looked me up and down and said, I really don't see the necessity. Okay, so he went and said to, asked this particular Judge Gaston for some food, and he did not give. Instead, he arrested him. Why? Because Gaston did not feel that this Pierre is a real beggar. You're doubting. Jean, a wag, that judge. He's a very bad man. He's not a good man. He did not know what it was to be hungry. See here, my pretty, this can't go on. I'm going to knock on every door in this street. And since charity begins at home, I shall begin right here, indicating the cake shop. You'd better not be seen. Go into the next street and try your luck there. Jean begins to go, but Pierre calls him back. Wait a minute, brother. Let's hear what you can do. Okay, now Pierre is making this dialogue. Okay, Pierre is saying that this judge doesn't know what it was to be hungry, because he has got a very good meal and nutritious food and all those things. He doesn't know what is hungry. See here, my pretty. Now you listen to me. This can't go on. We cannot be hungry like this for a long time. We cannot, otherwise we will die. I'm going to knock on every door in this street. So what I'm going to do, Pierre is saying that I'm going to knock on every door in this street. So I'm going to knock on every door. And since charity begins at home, I shall begin right here. So they are right in front of a cake shop. So Pierre is saying that I'm going to knock at this door, this cake shop's door, introducing the cake shop. You would better not be seen. So you go elsewhere. I will knock here. Go into the next street. Now you go. Jean, you go to another street. And try your luck there. Now you go there and you try your luck there. Jean begins to go. Now Jean is slowly getting up to go. But Pierre calls him back. Now wait a minute, brother. Let's hear what you can do. Okay? Jean knocks on the bench and assumes a mendicant voice and attitude. So now they are taking a little bit practice how to ask for alms, how to ask for food. They are taking some practice. Now this is going to be the practice session, how to knock the door. Jean, for the love of Saint Agatha and all the blessed saints, have pity on a poor miserable who has had no food for 3 days. How is that? So now they have a dialogue now. Now Jean is introducing a dialogue. So when you knock the door, you have to say this sentence. How is it? For the love of Saint Agatha. Saint Agatha is one of the saints of Catholic Church. So for the love of Saint Agatha and all the blessed saints, have pity on a poor miserable. So now have pity on me. I am a poor miserable who has no food for 3 days. For 3 days, I have not eaten anything. So this is the dialogue which they composed. Pierre. Now Pierre is saying something. Not bad, but make it 7 days and squint slightly. It's a sure sign of starvation. So now Pierre is making some comment. So it's not bad. Instead of 3 days, you make it 7 days. 7 days I have not eaten. So you say that, alter the dialogue a little bit. It's 7 days and squint slightly. So you bend slightly and ask for it. It should be, then it will be a sure sign of starvation. If you don't bend, if you stand straight, a person who eats, who has not eaten for 7 days, cannot stand straight, isn't it? So you have to squint slightly. So then it will be a sure sign of starvation. Pierre. Knocking on the cake shop's door. So now Pierre is slowly knocking on the door. Alms, good sir. So, good sir, please give me some alms. For the love of God and all his blessed saints, blessed angels, take pity on a poor traveler who has had no food for a week. So for a week, I have not eaten anything. So give me some alms, some food. Now Mr. Galtier comes on the door. He is a man of about 50, well preserved, and obviously content with his lot. So there came a man of 50 years old. He's well built. He looks to be a noble person. Okay, Galtier. So when Pierre knocked the door, Galtier appeared in front of the shop. Mr. Galtier slams the door. Exit Pierre. Enter Jean. He looks at the door, hesitant, and then knocks. Okay. Marion shuts the door. So she just shuts the door, closes the door. Jean sits disconsolately, sadly on the bench. Presently, Galtier comes out of the shop. He makes as if to go out. So now Galtier is slowly coming out of the shop, but remembers something and goes back towards the shop. Marion appears at the door. So now this is being seen by our Jean. So Galtier is coming out of this. So Galtier was already there in the home, but Marion told that he's out. Okay. Now again he re-enters as if he has forgotten something. He goes back to the same house. Mr. Galtier. Marion, I'm just off to dine with the mayor. So I'm going to have a dinner with the mayor. He keeps none too good at table. So the problem with the mayor, though he has invited me for the dinner, he will never keep anything good on the table. He will invite and all, but there will not be good food there. I'm thinking that I would better take the eel pie with me. So there was a beautiful eel pie made out of eel. This is a delicious food made out of the fish called eel. There's a certain kind of eel with which you make a pie. Uh, the big one that I made last Monday. So it was made by Galtier last Monday. And just get it for me. Hurry, I mustn't be late. So I should not be late. You give me that eel pie so that I can fetch it and go to the mayor's house and dine with him, and so that I will have a delicious food on the table. Otherwise, the mayor will not prepare anything good for me on the table. Marion, very good husband. So, okay, very good. And now I will prepare it for you. She goes back into the shop, but Galtier calls her back. Galtier, wait, I can't very well be seen carrying an eel pie through the streets of Paris, can I? So, it's not good that I carry an eel pie and go through the streets of Paris. So, it's not good for me. So, not quite the thing for a man of my position. Do you think you could bring it along after me? So, can you bring this eel pie just behind me? Otherwise, people may think that I'm of a good reputation, and carrying an eel pie through the streets is not good for me. Do you think is it good for me? No. So you carry the eel pie just behind me. Marion, quite impossible. No, I cannot do that. I have too much to do to run errands. I have many things to do. I cannot do that. Why not send someone back for it? So, why can't you send someone to fetch the pie? Galtier, a good idea, but who? That's a good idea. If I send somebody to fetch the pie, that will be good, since Marion is unable to take the pie and go to the mayor's house. So there should be somebody else who should come and fetch the pie from the shop. Marion, well, you will be bound to meet someone on the way. So if you find someone on the way, you send him. Galtier, yes. But how will you know if he is the right one? So, how will you know that the person is sent by me or not? Anyone might just come and say they had been sent. So anyone can come and say that I am sent to fetch the pie. Marion, I hadn't thought of that. So I did not think of that. Galtier, I have it. I have thought of it. I will tell a messenger when I have found him to kiss your hand. That will be the sign, and you will know that everything is all right. So I will tell a messenger. So if I find somebody, I will tell him that as you go to fetch the pie from the shop, you kiss the hands of Marion, my wife. And that will be the sign that this person is sent by Galtier. Is that okay? Marion, laughing. So this is an interesting thing, isn't it? Well, choose a good looking one. So now if you send somebody like that to kiss my hand and fetch the pie, send some good looking messenger. Okay, coyly. So it's just like a joke. Madam Galtier's hand is not for everyone to kiss. So my hand is not for everyone to kiss like that. Only pretty ones can. Only beautiful or handsome man can kiss my hand. So you send only good looking man. Marion returns to the shop. Galtier exits. Jean, who has overheard all the foregoing, sits pondering, presently enter Pierre. So now all these was heard, all these dialogues were heard by our Jean, who was sitting just close to the shop. Now we will see the rest of the episode in the coming class. Okay, have a nice day. This is going to be an important lesson, so read it several times and try to learn the vocabularies as well as the annotations. Okay, have a nice day.